Who do people say I am? The question was asked by Jesus to his apostles. The same question that Jesus is asking each one of us at this point in time in our faith journey. For the scribes and the Pharisees, who are the opposition of Jesus in his time, Jesus is a rebellious critic, a blasphemer, a false prophet, and a threat to the unity of the Jewish religion. But others would see Jesus as the prophet, a spokesman of God like Elijah and John the Baptist. The apostles acknowledged Jesus as the Messiah. However, like the rest of the Jews, they were expecting a Messiah as a political figure, an all-conquering Messiah who would free the Jews from oppression and deliver them from many forms of bondages. When Jesus turned to Peter to ask a similar question, Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ." Christ means the anointed one, the Messiah. It was Peter who recognizes Jesus' relationship with God the Father, that Jesus is the Holy One of God. The unity of Jesus with God the Father is a revelation to Peter and to the apostles, and it is given to us Christians who recognize and accept Jesus as the Son of God. I have this question to you. Who is Jesus Christ to you? Given this question, many would answer that Jesus is our Savior, our healer, that Jesus is my friend, my Lord, that He is the Son of God. All these things that we learned in our catechesis. With this theological concept of God, we no longer see God as a far distant God, but in a manner that the Old Testament people has encountered the divine creator and providential God they call Yahweh. God is with us as He has taken the form of the human flesh. God is personified in the humanity of Jesus, in His words, in His actions, in His laws and commands, and in the many miracles that He has done. In Jesus, God manifests His works of wonders in the events and in the lives of the people. Like Peter, we profess that Jesus and the Father is one. In Jesus, we see the image of the invisible God. In Jesus, we see the divine providence who sustains us in all that we need. In Jesus, we see God's miracles and His extraordinary intervention in human history. Jesus showed us the way to the Father as He teaches us the way to heaven. Through Jesus, we have learned how to respond to God's invitation. Christ tells Peter that God has an unconditional love for us and that all true love involves suffering. Jesus gives us the love that transcends human nature, the love that is more concerned for others than for our own. It is the love that Jesus has exemplified by His passion and by laying His life for us with His crucifixion. The cross itself, the cross of Jesus, is the symbol of that love. God reveals Himself through Jesus as the Lord unfolds the image of God Himself. He wants us to discern the mystery of His divinity by going deeper to the core of our faith. If we are to accept Jesus as our Messiah and our Savior, we must accept His way of suffering. In fact, the messianic prophecy of Isaiah was fulfilled in the person of Jesus as the suffering servant, the Ibid Yahweh of God, who offered His body to those who struck Him, the anointed one who could not even cover His face against insult and spittle. To be a disciple of Jesus is to be one with Him in His suffering. True discipleship is fidelity to the Lord, even in this time of crisis, in these times of troubles. Now, where is God? When do we see the face of God? The readings and the gospel this Sunday would help us discern and recognize the face of God in Jesus. We see God whenever we see Jesus working in our midst. We see God whenever we see someone feeding the hungry, clothe the naked, visit the sick and the imprisoned, console the afflicted. We see God when people accept and help the displaced and homeless refugees. To be a Christian, to be a follower of Jesus, entails self-renunciation and taking up the cross of Christ. We just cannot do that without the consequence of suffering. But we suffer for a good cause. We need to experience the sense of sacrifice in the Christian way, perhaps by sacrificing part of ourselves, our time, and resources in order to lift up the one in need. St. James reminds us, as we heard in the second reading, that we cannot just wish well anyone with good and pleasant words without providing them with bare necessities of life. We cannot just babble words without lifting out a finger to perform acts of charity. For faith without good works is dead. Let us ask the Lord that we may know Him more and that we may become His true disciples by the good acts and the good works that we do. Faith and good works will bring life to our soul. In this time of pandemic, the good work that we can do is to cooperate and help one another so that we may stop the spread of the virus. Let us be good citizens of God, be law-abiding citizens of our country and of the world. There are already many law-abiding people following the rules. If you cannot find one,